What's going on, ladies, gents, and kids of all ages? It is Eric coming back at you once again from the Nerd Cave, and today we have another very exciting deck list planned for you. We're going to be talking about what BLURPLE could look like during set 7. Does it actually need set 7 cards? Is this the deck for you if you don't have a lot of them? Maybe. Before we jump into that, as always, a big shout out to the Patreons for making the giveaways on the channel possible. We're super close to that 3,000 subscriber giveaway, so if you haven't hit that subscribe button, now is a great time to do so. And if you want to check out that Patreon, there is a link in the description. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and talk about our new version of BLURPLE to try to counter some of the things going on in the meta right now. So the first card in the 1-drop slot, and this will come as no surprise to you if you've been following my decks for a while, is going to be Diablo Obedient Raven, a 1-cost inkable 0/1 stat line, quest for 1. But the thing that makes Diablo so very good is that whenever he is banished, you are going to draw a card, so he's always replacing himself. Another card that should ideally be replacing itself, but could just be good at trading in the early game, is going to be Chernobog's Followers, a 1-cost inkable 2/1 stat line, questing for 1. With whenever this character quests, you may banish them to draw a card. So obviously, if there's something that's going to challenge him favorably, it's a great time to go ahead and banish him. If not, maybe you take a couple quests with him before you banish him off to draw that card. Next up, jumping over to the 2-cost slot, we are of course on 4 Tipo Growing Sun, a card that is fantastic in all Sapphire decks, but I think really shines in BLURPLE with the bounce package. You can potentially use this card multiple times. He is a 2-cost inkable 1/2 stat line, questing for 1. With when you play this character, you may put a card from your hand in your inkwell face down and exerted, and that card does not have to be inkable. Except in the 2-cost slot, a new addition for BLURPLE is going to be Ursula Mad Sea Witch, a 2-cost inkable 1/3 stat line, questing for 1 with Challenger 2. With the rise of aggro decks, this card is really good in the beginning game. It doesn't take away from your tempo as much as something like Madam Mim Snake, so it is potentially going to be still a threat of a 3/3 challenger. It's not going to be a 3 body when they're challenging into it, which kind of hurts, but you don't have to bounce a character back to your hand, so your give and take in the aggro matchup is not so bad. Especially in that aggro matchup, they are just going to want to keep questing, so when you prevent them from doing that, it can be really good. Next up in the 2-cost slot, we didn't move entirely away from Snake. We are still playing 2 Madam Mim Snake, a 2-cost inkable 3/3 stat line, questing for 1. With when you play this character, banish her or return another character of yours to your hand. Great way to get those enter play triggers multiple times. That's really what she's here for. Or to protect something from being challenged. Next up, we are on 4 Sail the Azurite Sea, a 2-cost inkable action. This turn, you may put an additional card from your hand in your inkwell face down and then draw a card. Great for replacing itself and getting a little bit of ink ramp. It is worth noting that card does have to be inkable, so if you don't have something in mind in your hand that you want to ink, you're really taking a risk with that 1 card off the top deck to not have a second card to ink, so just keep that in mind when you're playing it. Next up, we have 4 Madam Mim Fox, a 3-cost inkable 4/3 stat line, questing for 1. With when you play this character, banish her, return another character to your hand, same as that Mim Snake. Get those enter play triggers multiple times, but what's more important is she is going to be a rush character, so she is going to keep that board clear of those little menacing threats at the beginning of the game. Even if she takes a single trade, sometimes it can be really important what you're trying to do to keep tempo, but she is going to absolutely eat up Daisy Ducks in that aggro matchup. Making yourself more favorable into those mid-range decks is going to be 3 Merlin Crabs, a 3-cost inkable 3/3 stat line, questing for 1. When you play this character and whenever he leaves play, chosen character gets +3 this turn. Definitely not an irrelevant additional ability with the bounce package with that leaves play trigger, so always try to take advantage of that too where you can. Think about the way that you're challenging after Merlin Crab is on the board and potentially banishing him to boost something else up to get a more favorable attack, so always keep that in mind with Merlin Crab. But he is going to be really good at boosting up some of those weaker characters, especially when you look at things like Diablo that have no challenge ability. Making it a little stronger can help you keep tempo. Next up in the 3-cost slot, we're on 4 Friends on the Other Side, a 3-cost inkable action song. Is just going to let you straight up draw 2 cards, and you can sing it with any of those 3 or higher cost characters. So this is going to be what makes BLURPLE so good in my opinion. Since the Hiram ban, not being able to have that item based card draw has really hurt Sapphire decks. BLURPLE, on the other hand, Amethyst has so much card draw already, never really needed that package, so moving away from that definitely hasn't hurt BLURPLE. Now with the reduction of item-based decks in the meta and hence item removal, I think we're in a very safe spot to start playing things like the Sorcerer's Spellbook again, a 3-cost uninkable item with pay 1 and exert it, gain 1 lore. This is super good into those matchups where they don't have item removal, particularly where they're just trying to remove all of your characters. Like those Ruby decks, they typically can't do anything about your Sorcerer's Spellbook. You can just sit there and gain lore every turn because they can't remove it. Next up, we are on 4 Library, a 3-cost inkable location, 1 to move in, 8 willpower, and whenever a character is banished while here, you may draw a card. So this is going to be some of your primary card draw in the deck, and a great card to gain you some lore or insulate your board into something like a B prep. Next up, rather than playing Rabbit, which is typically what you see in the BLURPLE decks, we wanted to get our foot on the gas a little bit more. We don't have a lot of big questers in this deck, so we are on 4 Genie Wish Fulfilled, a 4-cost uninkable 2/4 stat line questing for 2 with evasive, and when you play this character, you draw a card. So you can still take advantage of that with the bounce package by bouncing him back and playing him multiple times to get that additional card draw, but more often than not, you just want to get them down, quest. If they do have an evasive threat on the opposing side, that's when you maybe want to quest, and then bounce him back to your hand, play him again, continue to get some additional card draw, and keep him protected from those evasive threats, challenging him in. Iago has become a little more prevalent in the meta, and Iago can potentially eat those for lunch, and being that you're playing BLURPLE, you don't have a lot of good, cheap ways to target that Iago to get him off the board, so keep that in mind when you're playing those genes. Next up, we have 3 Merlin Goat, a 4-cost inkable 4/3 stat line questing for 1. And when you play this character and when he leaves, you're going to gain a lore. Again, a great way to insulate against things like B prep or board wipes, removal in general, especially if you're high up in that lore count. Throwing down a Merlin Goat can be the thing that closes out the game for you. Or Goat Bounce Goat. You're going to have a lot of ink in this deck, so there is a real potential to have 10 ink and do like Goat Snake Goat, or 11 ink, do Goat Fox Goat, and gain 2 lore. Next up, still in the 4-cost slot, we're on 3 Grandma Tala, Keeper of Ancient Secrets, a 4-cost inkable 3/3 stat line questing for 1. With when you play this character, look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You may put 1 in your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Grandma Tala is just going to help you continue to kind of siphon through your deck and see some additional cards during the game and get down cards onto the bottom of your deck that you maybe wouldn't want to see. So she is a fantastic resource. Even though she's only letting you look at 2 cards and only putting 1 of them in your hand, she's still replacing yourself, which is largely what you want to have characters doing in this game in general. The last card in the 4-cost slot, we're on 3 How Far I'll Go, a 4-cost uninkable action song. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 into your hand and the other into your inkwell face down and exerted. So kind of similar to Tala, where you're going to be cycling out 2 cards, but in this case, you're going to take advantage of both of them because you're going to get 1 into ink, 1 into hand. So you're getting both of those cards, and this is singable, so it can potentially cost you nothing, and you can sing it with those Talas or any of those other 4-cost characters like Merlin Goat. The next card had to be a 4 of, in my opinion. It's just too good of a control card for this color where they don't have a lot of them to not play it, and that is going to be Elsa the Fifth Spirit, a 5-cost inkable 2/5 stat line questing for 1. Brawl has become a lot less prevalent, which I think has put Elsa in a better position than ever. She's going to have rush and evasive, so she's going to come down and immediately put in work. When you play this character, you get to exert a chosen opposing character. So if you're exerting an opposing character with 2 or less willpower remaining that maybe already has some damage on it, Elsa can come down and take that character right off the board. Great option for Elsa in those subsequent turns. We do have 2 Let It Go, a 5-cost inkable action song. Put chosen character into their player's inkwell face down and exerted. So this is going to be your way to deal with those big bombs, those Tamatoas, if people are still playing those, but moreover, those Maui Sharks, Clarabelles, all sorts of those larger characters. Let It Go is going to be your answer with this deck. Next up in the 7-cost slot, and another reason we are playing that 2-cost Ursula, we have 2 Ursula Sea Witch Queen, a 7-cost inkable 4/7 stat line, questing for 3, so really good questing, shifting for 5, and whenever this character quests, exert chosen character, and she's going to give you the ability to do that Elsa Fifth Spirit ability over and over again, essentially, and other characters can't exert to sing songs. That does include all other characters, your characters, their characters, everything. Generally, by the time you have this card hitting the board, you've done the song singing that you need to do, and if you have to hard cast your Let It Goes, it's not nearly as bad as it can be for your opponents, especially if they're playing something like Steel Song or Emerald Steel, where they are highly reliant on being able to sing songs. But just a great way to kind of control those matchups. And the last card in the deck, we are on 2 Elsa Spirit of Winter, an 8 cost uninkable 4/6 stat line, also questing for 3. This one's shifting for 6, so great on curve with those smaller Elsas. And when you play this character, exert up to 2 chosen characters they can't ready at the start of your turn, at the start of their next turn. So if you're sensing a theme here, it is that our main goal is going to be to exert our opponent's characters to be able to remove them through favorable challenges, through things like crab, fox, etc. So that is what we're going for here. We don't have big board wipes with BLURPLE, so what we want to do is control the board to just keep them from being able to take advantage of the worst characters for us, and then those smaller characters will pick off in time. But Elsa, fantastic way to close out a game. So that is my breakdown on what BLURPLE should look like during set 7, during the current meta of set 7 specifically. I think the deck is in honestly a really good place. Steel Song, Amethyst Steel, a lot of those steel decks have become a lot more prevalent, and some of those aren't necessarily going the fast. They're not as aggro heavy, and that lean towards mid-range has put this deck in a better position than ever in my experience. If you go into that aggro matchup, it certainly can be a little rough. Chernadog has a very good matchup into you, but if you're playing into one of those many mid-range decks in the format right now, or those high-end high-roll decks, I really think you have a good opportunity to be able to win those games. So what do you think of this deck? Do you think the off-meta tech options are worthwhile? Do you think you should just play other cards in those slots? I always love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Are you playing BLURPLE now? Are you enjoying it? What are your thoughts? If you're actively playing BLURPLE in the meta, I would love to hear it. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And when you see those toys, video games, and those big old Elsas tapping down the board off in the distance, remember, it is not a mirage. You guys have a great day.